Hello everyone, good morning, welcome back to the Hearthstone ladder. My name is Rooster and this is a deck that is based on Jackie Chan's Warlock deck, which he played in the Seed Story Cup that has been 2 weeks ago, I think. Made a lot of waves with some of his other decks, but this one flew a little bit under the radar. Perhaps it just wasn't too impressive. That's for us to find out, I guess. I've tried the deck a little bit. Seems to be decent, although it will struggle. Especially, I faced a few hunters, which are troublesome. Hunters are trouble, but yeah, I think it's a pretty reasonable deck, so definitely worth giving that a try. Jackie Chan did play a Chillmaw. I still don't own a Chillmaw, so that is not going to work for us. But I've replaced it with a Shadow Flame, which I think might very well... What do we pick here? I think I'm going with the Voodoo Doctor, to be honest. Not too exciting, but maybe the Corruption would have been a better idea, actually. Not too sure about that. It's trading, that's fine. If I had a Mortal Coil, that would be excellent, but no such luck, unfortunately. We may just Shadow Flame that thing, actually, and then... that will eventually die to a Hellfire, I guess. That's probably okay. Let's just go with this for now. Let's make him think we are a Relo Lock deck, so that might incentivize him to trade a little more than he would otherwise. So that's not awful. He does have the coin still, so he might coin a Feral Spirit, in which case I will definitely Hellfire. And just another Totem Golem. That's a little ugly, because that means that I don't have a great way to deal with Tunnel Trog right now, except... yeah, I can't really King Boss here, so let's hope... it's also really ugly if I Dark Peddler and don't get a Mortal Coil. I'm basically banking on that right now. Do I tap otherwise, or do I heal? I guess the Voodoo Doctor's not the worst, because if he wants to trade, then he'll at least have to... These options are pretty terrible. Do I want to take a Power Overwhelming? This is not really a Power Overwhelming deck, to be honest, but the other cards are so terrible that I really have no interest in taking those. So I guess the Voodoo Doctor's fine here, because at worst the two of these will trade for one of these minions. So he might pick off one of them with the Totem Golem for free, but then the other one still trades for the Tunnel Trog. Alternatively... wait, what costs 4? Right. Forget I asked anything. At least this means that I get to trade... oh, I don't get to trade that. Well, I get to Power Overwhelming and Hellfire, I suppose. Which is more than I could ask for. So this works. I'm not terribly excited about the situation, obviously, but we are in a decent position, and the Sunwalker might be able to allow us to stabilize, so that's good. Sure, I'm okay with this. I'm not sure if he noticed the double Peddler yet, so I also don't know whether it's really to our advantage if he thinks we're a Reno deck or not. Because this deck does not run a lot of healing. We do have the double Elden Ring Farseer, of course, and the Alexstrasza, which will generally be used to heal ourselves, I can imagine. Haven't really gotten it off, but it can definitely do some work. Although there are definitely decks out there that are capable of bursting you through it, so that's kind of a danger. That's a good ping. That's a good ping. So what else have we got? A Rockbiter. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Does he have a Flame Tongue in that case? That could be a Flame Tongue, actually. Or another Rockbiter. Ooh, Lava Burst. Okay, so we are up against Aggro Shaman, which is also kind of bad, I think. I can't imagine that matchup being good. So do we play Doomsayer here? I'm pretty sure we do, to be honest. We could go for the double King Boss, but that's still kind of weak against this board here. Although it might do a better job. If he had a Flame Tongue, I'm pretty sure he would have traded one of his minions, so that's kind of okay-ish. We could go Doomsayer, Azure Drake, actually. Actually, I don't hate that. Yeah. But I can't imagine he'll be able to kill both. He'll be incentivized to kill the Doomsayer, and if not, then we have an empty board to play the Imp King bosses on. Or we could just be dead. Well, he doesn't have he doesn't have the mana to Rockbiter either, so I guess that's okay. We're going to need a taunt then. And even if we do get a taunt, then we might still very well be dead. Let's just tap. I can't imagine us winning without tapping here. Any damage means he's killing us right now, and that's just the sad truth of the matter. If we had a Mortal Coil a little bit earlier, then we could have survived this turn. I can't imagine this turn being too hard for him, unless he doesn't have lethal, which is really... yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, Hunter and Aggro Shaman are kind of bad. They're kind of bad for this deck, I mean, of course. So, as long as you can avoid those, I think you might be in an okay spot, especially against the more control-y decks. I think it has a reasonable matchup against Dragon Warrior, for example. But the environment at the start of a new ladder is always kind of unpredictable, especially on the lower ranks. You have the people that have dropped quite a few ranks and are just playing really high-end meta decks, can be really good players too. So a really unpredictable meta. And do we really want to keep Doomsayer against Priest? I guess it doesn't hurt, right? We'll go for a little bit of early game. I don't like throwing away a dragon, but it's not as important as it would be against other... as it would be in other dragon decks, I should say. If he plays a big minion here, I think I will Doomsayer, just to prevent him from developing another, and then we can start coining out the Twilight Guardians. As it stands, I'm pretty content with just tapping right here. And that should lead to a pretty good curve. Yeah, especially with the Imp King boss. I'm pretty content with that, sure. Let's see what our opponent's up to. Priests are usually good news on the ladder, as sad as that may sound. So we could go for coin Twilight Guardian, but I would rather he Shadow Pained my Imp King boss, to be honest. Because the Twilight Guardian is a lot better as a threat on the board, so yeah. Was imagining the Shadow Pain here, but that's okay. I would much rather have a 3/6 on the board. Could coin the Blackwing Corruptor, but we could very well get a freebie with this one, so I'm willing to get that a try. I imagine we're playing against a newer player, or just some really new aggressive priest build that I have no knowledge of. That's the second Shadow Pain. It was going to happen anyway. And we can still go with the Blackwing Corruptor plan, although that might find the Shadow of Death. On the flip side, that does mean our opponent's not really doing anything. We could still go for the Twilight Guardian plan, actually, which is not the worst idea. Although it's a little mana inefficient, and I don't really like that too much. And if that's a problem, we could actually just go in Azure Bank here, which I think I like. Big advantage here is that it doesn't die to Shadow of Death, which is my main consideration here. Getting the Imp King boss, Shadow Pain, is also good in case we would be running against a priest that has Cabal Shadow Priest. Because getting an Imp King boss stolen can be a pretty big setback. That's the word, setback. Tempest Keep was merely a setback, indeed. So what am I expecting here? A Doomsayer. Well, that's probably kind of okay with me. I don't know about that, to be honest. We could just Shadow Bolt Mortal Coil it. Seems a little weak again, but we can kill the Direwolf Alpha, and that could be okay-ish. On the flip side, we could attack into it with the Corruptor and then still kill the Direwolf. Oh, I think I like that. Sure, let's kill the Direwolf and do it that way.
I wield the power.
That is pretty cute. Yeah. That does allow us to have the biggest board left alive, I'm pretty sure. That's a bit of a strange play, to be honest, but I guess we were on 9 cards in hand, so we would have to burn the coin at the very least, or do something less productive with our time, I'm not quite sure. So what's happening here? Powered Shield, that is okay. I'm tempted to just Siphon Soul that. Alternatively, do we have any great alternatives? We could just trade the Azure Drake in. I'm not a big fan of that. If we Shadow Bolt and trade the Azure Drake, then we can develop a Twilight Drake. That's actually pretty reasonable. I don't hate that. Any alternatives? Siphon Soul seems a little weak. I just want to play some cards right now. So I guess I'm okay with this plan. I imagine we're just playing against a priest who just happens to throw all of his fancy cards in one deck and then sees where it goes from there. So not incredibly worried about a lot of meta cards. So Occani Circle or whatever. Pyromancers. Not that this deck would be particularly worried about Pyromancers, but one thing I am kinda keeping in mind is the possibility of Mind Control, because that's a pretty popular card with players who don't have we don't have a particularly big collection, that's what I'm trying to say. Are we going with a taunt here? Yeah, getting the Sunwalker out before the possible mind control hits is pretty nice, I guess. So let's go with the Discovery and then a Sunwalker. Going with a Void Walker, right? Light Warden's actually not irrelevant. I kind of like that plan. Let's trade here. Let's play the Sunwalker. And then go face. There we are. Could also be a Reno Priest deck, which is pretty ridiculous. Priest is one of those classes that really doesn't need Reno, but I guess it could kind of work. And if we are facing, well, if we're playing kind of oddball decks at these lower ranks. Okay, so getting a 2/2 stolen is absolutely fine. I imagine he's healing up the Elise here, though that's not particularly worthwhile. I can just trade straight up here, and that's going to be pretty good still. Might have my stuff die to Excavated Evil, so let's keep that in mind, shall we? We have 9 cards in hand, but I don't mind committing a bit more, especially if we're trading over here. Do we have any better options than trading? I guess we could ignore the 4/5 for now. Although that will take care of the Sunwalker, I guess, but if it takes care of the Sunwalker, I guess that's also fine. So how about we go for something like this? I prefer trading here. I really prefer trading. Let's tap, see what we get. Getting this stolen would be rather unlikely right now. And I would like to just play some stuff that doesn't immediately die to Excavated Evil, so that's nice. Also, yeah, the trade with the Twilight Drake also leaves us less vulnerable to that, so that's good.
Embrace the void.
I haven't seen any duplicates. Is this a circle? This is a circle, alright. So we are left with a... well, we're not really left with much, because I imagine he's arrow powering the 3/2 down. We don't have a Mortal Coil right now, so that Occani is still a little annoying. What do we do about that? Oh, top deck a Blackwing Corruptor, why not? That seems like a pretty good idea. Overall, don't hate it. We could tap and hope to find something useful. We have 8 cards in hand, so I guess tapping's fine. Tapping last is always a good idea. That's a joke, by the way. You should never tap last. And let's provoke an AoE effect, why not? If he's disincentivized to heal himself, then that's entirely okay with me. I guess he could steal this now, but I'm not too worried about that. Should we care about positioning in this case? I don't think so. I don't think so. The Direwolf Alpha was really curious, by the way. The rest of his deck seems rather competent, but... oh, that's cute. If that works, that's really cute. It does not. Wait. Oh, Shifting Shades. I keep being confused about how they get all these strange cards, but... the Shifting Shades steal cards from our deck, of course, so... that's not too... effective. Ooze is not very effective against us because we don't have Jiraxis in our deck right now. Can we conveniently kill that card? We might just be running out of cards also, but I would like to save the Siphon Souls for something more important. Can we tap first? I guess we can tap first. And then... maybe still Siphon Soul. I would like to be a little conservative with my 5/4. So I guess we actually will. I'm keeping the light one around. Oh, that's pretty good actually. I didn't count on the restore health on the Siphon Soul to buff that. So attacking last was definitely the right call, but I might just as well have attacked first. Is that the double Holy Nova? That's a Psychotron. That's interesting. So are we using the second Siphon on that one? Or are we just going for something big here? That's a really annoying card, by the way. I guess we could Siphon it, but we don't have a great follow-up, unfortunately. If we leave it unchecked, it will trade into the 5/2, so I guess it's not unreasonable, and I guess we could play Bran or something? We can Siphon tap Bran if needed. If we tap, we don't really have a bunch of great options. I guess it's fine. Do we tap? I guess I don't mind tapping. We have a lot of situational cards over here, that's kind of disappointing, and that is actually pretty great. Although, do we overdraw if we do this? We do not. Oh, we can't do that this turn, of course. So, so this is pretty good still. He doesn't have any Shadow Word Pains, so that's good. He might have a second Cabal Shadow Priest to steal this, which would be unfortunate. But in any other occasion, this is pretty good for us, I think. Hoping to get something neat with the Dark Battler here, that would be nice. Or the Azure Drake. We're drawing through our deck really quickly here. Which is something to be wary of. Let's see what we draw. Oh, we're drawing 2 in that case. I don't want to draw 2 right now. If we Dark Battler, we have 9 cards in hand, we can discover 2 cards, that's fine. Let's just get some worth out of Bran here. I'm taking the Shifter, because I'm expecting to make some good use of that. And anything useful here? Not really, unfortunately. So we may actually have to trade something into the Justicar, which is really awkward. I think I'll take the Power Overwhelming just for the surprise kill, I think. We could just go Sunwalker, actually, and go face. I think I like that plan much better. Because that would set up the kill for next turn in a lot of occasions. Of course, there is the danger of Mind Control, but he doesn't have a lot of cards right now. If he has a Mind Control, then that's a pretty good target, but it doesn't look like that's what's gonna happen right now. Cycling Circle of Healing for just 1 card. That's a pretty good situation for us. Cycling Map. And what else? I haven't seen a Shadow of Death yet, so I'm expecting that to come out here. And then... that is not a good trade for you, sir. What are you planning to do with that? Oh, you've got 16 health, though, so I would need another... I'm one off lethal in that case. Okay, so Flash Heal saves him for another turn. Oh, that's a pretty good card. I don't mind that at all. So yeah, killing this. Going face. And that's a pretty reasonable card right here. I don't need to play anything else. I don't need to tap, because that might actually be a concern in this game. Could have gone for the Ragnaros, actually. Would that have killed him? No. He healed for too much. I didn't count the Ragnaros, though. So that would have been lethal if he didn't Flash Heal face, I think. And that's a curious card. Can we kill him? We've got 10, we've got 14. If we do this, then we hit face for 10. Yes, that is included. Okay. So we hit face for this, and Ragnaros to finish him off. There we go. So that wasn't a lot of competition, but a good practice to deal with unpredictable situations. I was a little slow on the end turn, I kind of forgot about that, so I'm sorry opponent if you're watching this. Okay, yeah, that is the disadvantage of the current ranked system. I'm finding the start of the season to be a good opportunity to try some less optimized decks, such as the Reno deck for last episode and this Dragon Lock, and I've got a few more ideas I would like to try. But that does mean that your win rate is not really what it's supposed to be. I'm basically just hanging around rank 19 with a lot of the stacks, and that's less than ideal, because that does mean that the occasional new player will run into decks that they may very well be unable to properly deal with, just like that priest over there. I'm not sure what the idea with the Direwolf Alpha and the Raging Worgen is, but I imagine it's just whatever he had on hand at the time. The Shifting Shade was from the Museum Curator, actually. I didn't realize that until right now. So a Druid. Let's see what kind of Druid we're up against. Yogg Druid has been, or Token Druid rather. I should be calling it Token Druid, because it's not a Yogg deck. It's just a token deck that happens to have Yogg in it, which I've mentioned before. So I shouldn't harp on that too much. Coin into 3-drop. That's interesting. Cthulhu Druid, I imagine then. Oh, Bran. That's ugly. So what could come out there that could hurt me here? If I play Doomsayer here, that most likely leads to a pretty decent situation. Even if he has a Disciple of Cthulhu, he still has to innovate a hero power. Alternatively, this is not a bad Shadow Bolt target, so I think I'll just take that. It's a little more mana efficient too, and if he plays a minion next turn, then I can Doomsayer and Life Tap, which is pretty sweet. So I'll definitely take that. I would have liked to be able to Incang Boss, but you can't really leave that Bran out there, I think. So what comes here? There's the Disciple of Cthulhu. So, not a great turn for him. I'll happily Mortal Coil this and Incang Boss. That's absolutely fine. Double Doomsayer seems a little awkward though, so I may... if he manages to clear my board at some point, then I'll happily drop a Doomsayer just to cost him a turn. That is probably reasonable. Dropping a Doomsayer right now doesn't really do a whole lot, since instead I could just develop a board, and that's pretty much the reason why you would do a thing like that. What do we have right here? Not a lot of great options, unfortunately. We could just go for the Earthen Ring Farseer and then Life tap, that seems reasonable. Doomsayer is not likely to survive, unfortunately. That would allow us to deal with that card, or perhaps we have another option after we tap. So that's okay. Could go for the Doomsayer, but that just means he hits our face for 4 and then doesn't develop anything. So that's so I guess that's still reasonable. I don't like it too much. I don't really like it. I guess I'll just go for this. And hitting face there, because hitting the Divine Shield doesn't really help except make us weaker for the next turn, which is not a great course of action for us. So he gets his value off the Divine Shield, but he would, if I traded him, King Boss regardless, so that's okay. If he swipes here, what do? That's not a great swipe, to be honest. So I guess I would be okay with that. Don't have the second Mortal Coil. What's happening here? 5? That means Druid of the Claw, that's reasonable. Okay, so he's building a nice board here. We don't Hellfire here. I guess Sunwalker's pretty reasonable. Does allow him to trade in that thing, but there's no easy kill for him. So anytime he can't easily get rid of a Sunwalker is a good situation for us, I think. And it's also a pretty good drop on turn 6 regardless. So I like where that's going. He would need an additional damage effect to get rid of that. So and he's already used a Wrath just now. Even Swipe is not a great clear. There's the additional damage effect, unfortunately, but still requires... he can Hero Power, and if he wants to Wrath that, then that's fine. That's one more damage effect that he can't use on anything else, so... I guess the Sunwalker's pretty reasonable next turn still. Seems pretty good. I could also Siphon Soul... does not allow me to Doomsayer, unfortunately. I would definitely, if I had 8 mana, I would Siphon Soul and Doomsayer. That would be pretty sweet. Alternatively, right now, he doesn't have a great trade into the Sunwalker, so I think I just like playing the second one of those. Could go for Azure Drake, but that's kind of weak. Could go for Siphon Soul, but that's rather weak, because that just lets him develop the board. It's pretty good. Sunwalker's still a pretty good card, guys. Don't underestimate it. So any changes to this deck? I guess you could go a little bigger and add some bigger dragons, but I think the main plan for this deck is just to life tap a lot and swarm your opponents with minions. Although you might find yourself stuck with a lot of situational cards, as we saw last game. There were a lot of awkward cards in our hand right there, like a Hellfire, Shadowflame, double Doomsayer. Pretty much what we got going on right here, except we still got some business going on with the Siphon Soul and the double Azure Drake, so that's pretty good still. Hero powers, and that means that whatever he's playing here will likely get cleared by Hellfire, which I like. Alternatively, well, that does not get cleared by Hellfire, unfortunately. Do we need to get rid of that, though? I don't imagine. We could still go for Hellfire and Twilight Guardian, I suppose. Will he have a swipe? There's another question. We could go for Twilight Guardian and Doomsayer, which I rather like, to be honest. That's unlikely to be able to be cleared, and that allows us to life tap and then develop next turn. I kind of like where that is going. And that also saves the Azure Drake's Shadow Flame for later, which is a pretty sick combination. Any alternatives? Well, not really. I guess we can tap first if we're planning on doing that. Anything important we could discover? Nothing that's worth more than what we're planning right now. I think this is reasonable. So we could have gone for the Mortal Coil Discover, but that leaves us with a rather weak turn. Because we tapped, then we would have played Peddler and Mortal Coil, and then I guess Doomsayer, but that could work actually. So we would have traded the Imp, and then, okay, swipes that, and then he needs more, right? Because he's not killing this. Unless he has... Oh, yeah, he is actually killing that. Okay, but that's fine. That cost him a lot of resources. So still reasonable. And we are able... I don't like siphoning soul on this. I guess we could go for Azure Drake. Don't like that. Siphon Soul Tap. Siphon Soul Tap is probably fine. Siphon Soul Doomsayer is also not terrible. Because we have 10 mana next turn, so we can, for example, just develop two Drakes or something. I think I like that. He doesn't have 10 mana yet, so there's no Cthulhu happening. I'm not buffing his Cthulhu with the Crazed Worshipper either, so his Cthulhu is rather, is kind of staying behind right now. Oh, he did play 2 Disciples, unfortunately. So that does mean his Cthulhu is 10-10, which means I should probably save a Shadow Flame for the inevitable Twin Emperor play. That is likely to happen. I should have played the Azure Drake first, but I don't imagine there being a lot of other plays we would have done this turn, so that's fine. And all of a sudden we have a board against a Druid, which is rather good. And also, still a Blackwing Corruptor in hand, still have a Dragon in hand to trigger it, that's kind of important. I wouldn't mind seeing a Bran anytime soon, that would be pretty sweet, actually. We could go for Azure Drake and Shadow Bolt, that's also pretty sweet. Or Azure Drake Shadow Flame, I like where that's going. That does trigger, right? I'm pretty sure that triggers. Because that is absolutely sweet. I'm gonna be mad if this doesn't trigger, but I imagine it will. It definitely did, so that's pretty good. I wasn't entirely sure about that, so if that would have left them at 1 health, then I would have been kinda sad, but that's just the way of life.
The Ancient One calls.
Okay, so Blackwing Corruptor is not unreasonable over there. That is a big dude, though. That is hard to deal with. Kinda hard to deal with, unfortunately. But the taunt is actually reasonable, although the taunt is not a taunt, and I am lucky to actually have a dragon right now. Because, as usual, I'm forgetting about stuff like that, which is kind of awful. So what's the plan this turn? I'm pretty sure Peddler happens. Do I mind... I could actually Corruption that, and then it's not unreasonable. I wouldn't really mind the Soulfire too much either, to be honest, but... still liking this, and it does get rid of that. It still allows him to trade into one thing, but that's probably okay. And allows us to get a tap in, why not? Tap last, great, great. Nice job. I'll just say it here, so you don't have to point it out in the comments. That's not that I mind any comments on my playstyle in the comments. Mind you, that's entirely fine. So yeah, it turns out Corruption is not a terrible card if you find it off a Dark Peddler sometimes. So does he have a taunt here? Because he is currently dead.
The land serves me.
Still dead, right? We hit face for 10 and then Hellfire, yeah. Alright, so that was pretty good. Let us give it one more game. Druid seems like a decent matchup, although if they innovate something really big, I guess you'll have to wait for Siphon Soul, but that's 6 mana is a lot of mana, guys. That's Not the greatest answer ever. I'm clacking my tongue an awful lot, and if that annoys you, then I'm really, really sorry. It's just a bad habit that I should aim to get rid of. But yeah, I don't mind facing another Druid here, because that last game seemed to be kind of in my favor. So I'll take a favorable matchup any day. Dark Battler's reasonable, Shadowbolt's reasonable, yeah. I like where this is going. Doomsayer is also not awful in the early game against the Druid. Likely will force them to use an Innervate to do something productive, so that's good. No Living Roots over here. Is this the same guy as last time? Let me check. It is not the same one as last time, okay. We're not coining in that case. Did we say greetings yet? I don't think so.
Are you my master?
Okay, so we are up against Cthulhu, Druid, and I don't mind playing Doomsayer here at all, because we would be allowed to Twilight Drake afterwards. Our turn will be rather weak if we don't. Actually, we could totally play Peddler here, and then Mortal Coil plus Doomsayer next turn. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Do we take a Power Overwhelming or a second Mortal Coil? I think I'll take the Power Overwhelming. Could go for the Dragon Egg, actually, which is not bad against Druid, I think. Because if it gets hit by a swipe, that's still pretty good for us. And yeah, this is basically the same as him dropping something bigger than that, so that's fine. Mortal Coil that, and then drop the Doomsayer. We could go for the Peddler again, but it's actually really convenient for the mana right now. Because if he's not able to deal with this, then we can drop a Twilight Drake, which is very nice. And the main reason why I didn't go for it last turn was that I didn't really have a good 3-drop to follow up with. So, extending it by a turn by passing with the Peddler, because the Peddler plus the Mortal Coil would exactly kill the thingamajig that he had over there, allowed us to pass the turn and still do basically the same. He had a little bit of extra mana to be able to deal with the Doomsayer, but that's a small risk. Don't mind that too much. What do we got here? Shadow Bolt to get rid of that, and tap or Peddler. I don't hate either way. I guess we might Peddler if just to see if we can get an abusive Sergeant, I guess. That would be nice. Against a Druid, Voidwalker can be reasonable, although Flame Imp's also not awful. I guess I'll go for Flame Imp just because we're ahead on the board right now. It's usually not a great get for a more control-y style of Warlock, but in this case, I think we can get away with it.
The Ancient One calls.
And there's the taunt coming down. Okay, so we don't have a Silent Soul yet, but we do have this Power Overwhelming, which is pretty reasonable. If not incredibly exciting right now, it still does its job, I guess. We unfortunately can't Azure Drake Shadow Bolt to do that. I guess we could Power Overwhelming Shadow Bolt, but that's a little unimpressive. We can actually heal this up. That's pretty nice. I think I like where that's going. So we can heal that and Shadow Bolt. I like that. Yeah, I like that. That does develop a sizable board still. Which only something like Starfall or Azure Drake Swipe would be able to get rid of, so that's good. Next turn, there's a likely Power Overwhelming happening. If not, if he Starfalls, but that just means we get to develop some stuff, and I like me some stuff. Sure, we could go for Azure Drake, but I think I prefer the Sunwalker here. Although we could, I guess, tap an Azure Drake. That's not awful. Let's, or I'd like me some Taunt too. So we could go for Taunt and Flame Imp. I think I like where that's going. Sure. Getting the Flame Imp out a little more quickly is also pretty good, because you can't really play that too late. You need to leverage the board advantage as soon as possible. So this is a better board position than just the Aggro Shaman. So that's the main excuse I have right now. Any trades I would like to make? I don't like trading into that thing. Blackman Corruptor's pretty reasonable here though. And I guess we could do something with Power Overwhelming to get rid of that thing. It's still a little awkward, but I guess I can trade both of the 3 attack guys in. And that is still a pretty good board position. Allows us to tap 2. So I think I like that.
I wield the power.
So attack this, trade this, Power Overwhelming on this, and trade. Did we just miss lethal? We did not, right? I can't imagine we did. We did spend a lot of health on that, but we only dealt 10 damage to that thing and a little bit of damage to the other thing. Perhaps we should have just leveraged that board position, gone for the Sunwalker, and seen if we... Well, that's a swipe, okay. I'm not too sad about that anymore. Siphon Soul on that, and then Imp King Boss, that seems reasonable. We could also go for Sunwalker, but that's a little weak. I would like to get rid of that and just leverage my minions that I have right now. Although Siphon Soul might be needed to deal with an eventual Cthulhu. That's a little dangerous, because that could come down next turn. I don't think I can actually Siphon Soul this right now. Which means I could go for a Hellfire, that's also a little dangerous and needs a trade. I could go for Sunwalker in that case, still a little weak. How big is this Cthulhu right now? Can it was 15-ish, right? So that would likely kill the Doomsayer if we just dropped that. But we could go for Imp King Boss plus Doomsayer, but that's also a little weak. I don't like where this is going. If he has a Cthulhu, then we can go for Sunwalker, right? Sure, I'm okay with that. I don't mind that plan. Let's go for that. If he has exactly Cthulhu right now, then Sunwalker is not a horrible follow-up, and we can even coin out the Azure Drake. So that's kind of okay. That needs to die though. Oh, please don't. That is such a disgusting combination. So gonna need. Ooh. I don't like this at all. Can we taunt enough to make a Doomsayer go off? We can Sunwalker Doomsayer, I guess. We did get the second Siphon Soul, so that's pretty good. If we Sunwalker Doomsayer, he can attack that with a hero power and then attack. If he has Cthulhu, we're pretty much dead though. But not much we can do about that, I think. We can Azure Drake Hellfire to kill that, then kill that. Then there's one left. I still don't like that a lot. Azure Drake. We could go Azure Drake, Hellfire, coin Doomsayer. Don't like that at all. I think I'll go for this. Do we need to attack into anything? I don't think so. Let's see if this works. I haven't really counted it out, and I probably should have. And this is really bad against Cthulhu. Should I have Hellfired after I found the Mortal Coil with the tap? That I don't know. That is not a Cthulhu at least, so that's good. Does allow him to attack that. I don't think he can kill the Doomsayer still, so that's good enough for us, I think. Although that is a pretty disgusting turn, so don't like where that's going, but at least he can't commit to the board right now, so that leaves us with an Azure Drake. That's reasonable, it's reasonable. He would need pretty much exactly swipe at this point. Has he used the second swipe? I don't think he has, but that could be a thing that works. So hero power and pass, please. That's the situation we're looking for right now. Could still have a Cthulhu coming up next turn, and that might just kill us. I don't think so though. Okay, hero power pass, that's good. Azure Drake, and let's see what we get. Oh, that's a good one. It's actually not that great. Do we tap? I think we tap. I don't think we can win if we don't tap all the time. So this allows us to survive the Cthulhu probably, but it's still not great, and it's going to happen eventually. He's getting later and later into his deck, so increasing chances all the time. I would just slam that Cthulhu like it's...
Do you hear its call?
I don't know. What's a good metaphor right there?
Listen closely.
I don't know metaphors. Really. Oh, Ragnaros is a pretty good card though. Do we just drop that right away? We could go for the Siphon Soul on that, and then the trade does not allow us to do anything else though, so that's kind of a problem. We can tap and then see if we want to Ragnaros. I guess that's reasonable. Oh, that's not bad either, but Bran Azure Drake doesn't really allow us to deal with that, so I think I'll just go for Ragnaros here and pass the turn. Hope it kills either one, but preferably the Arakoa, of course. That is also kind of okay. I'm a little worried about my health right now, because Cthulhu might very well kill us. Nor is just good news, I think. That does draw him closer to his Cthulhu, and he might draw Mulch, I guess. So Ragnaros might not be long for this world. If he mulches, I guess he still has a hero power left, but that means he's not dealing with the Azure Drake, so he could still do some stuff. That Cthulhu is getting really big though. Kinda worrisome. He's really hoping to draw into that mulch, isn't he? Really going all in on that. That doesn't seem like the greatest idea ever. So, would we Hellfire here? That's the question. If he living roots us, then yes. Yes, we do Hellfire, because that kills him. Okay, so good game. Ha. Alright, so, I hope you enjoyed this deck. I liked it better than I initially thought. Initial results weren't that great, but the Druid matchup seems reasonable, surprisingly. So, yeah. Exciting at the start of the new month. Of course, we're a little low in the ranks, but I'll probably play a little more to just to get us up to a reasonable level for the next episode. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestion, any deck you would like to see played before the expansion hits, the new adventure coming out next week, of course, so keep that in your calendar. And as usual, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you again in 2 days. See ya!